We know when he's coming back. Woj joins us momentarily. Plus, might I interest you in a 26-point comeback? Desmond Bane joins the show live and takes us through how the Grizzlies pulled it all off. And don't look now, but the Warriors up 3-0 and look like the team to beat. How they stifled Denver again with another pool party with plenty of splash. NBA Today starts right now. Welcome to NBA Today and happy Friday, everybody. I'm Malika Andrews alongside Kendrick Perkins, that senior writer, Zach Lowe. And gentlemen, we need to start with some breaking news and bring in our Adrian Wojnarowski. Woj, what can you tell us about when Ben Simmons may make his debut?
Malika, there's a plan in place now in Brooklyn. Ben Simmons plans to make his return on Monday in Game 4 against the Celtics, and certainly that's barring any kind of a setback. But he's been pain-free for over a week plus now. You know, he's ramped up, scrimmaging, practicing against his teammates, and time is running out. Obviously, the Nets would love to be in a situation where they go into Monday night down 2-1. Obviously, they won't have Ben Simmons for Game 3 on Saturday. But the plan now, I am told, is that Ben Simmons will make his Nets debut, his season debut, Monday in Game 4. And I think the plan ultimately is to see what they can get out of Ben Simmons, if that's 10 or 15 minutes in the first game, and then try to build from there if there's season left at all for the Nets in this series against Boston.
You mentioned it. Season debut, playoffs debut, the first time we've seen Ben Simmons in nearly a year, and now we finally have a date circled. But the other injury that we've been keeping an eye on in this series is on the other side with the Boston Celtics. So what can you tell us about when Robert Williams might return?
Malika, Robert Williams is going to return in Game 3 on Saturday against the Nets. Now, I'm told he's going to play in very limited minutes in his return, and if that goes smoothly, the expectation is by Game 4 on Monday, Robert Williams will return to more of a regular minutes load for Boston. You know, he had meniscus surgery just on March 30th. You know, the original plan was 4 to 6 weeks, but they thought all along, based on the surgery, it could be less than 4 weeks. They thought initially maybe it'd be Game 6, maybe he could be back for a Game 7. But he's going to be back for a Game 3. This obviously a Boston defense that was the best in the league, with Robert Williams anchoring it at center, and you've seen what they've done to Brooklyn in this series, and now the idea of getting him back with just a few minutes on Saturday, but back full time, almost full time by Monday. That's a significant. That's going to have a significant impact on this series.
Robert Williams, Game 3, Ben Simmons, Game 4. Adrian Wojnarowski, please don't go too far. We would like to break down some coaching news with you later in the show. Really appreciate it. All right, bring it back with the panel, though. We now have official timelines. We are no longer kicking the proverbial can down the road. Big Perk, what is your reaction to all of this?
So what? Ben Simmons? Look.
Which one do you want to? You can take
I'll start with Ben Simmons.
All right.
I'm to the point where it don't even matter, right? We don't even care. He hasn't played in a year. We already talked about that. But here's the thing, right? We're talking about the impact that Ben Simmons could really have on this series. If he goes out there and try to be a defensive presence on Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, he's going to get cooked. That's first thing first. Second of all, we all have had problems with Ben Simmons and how to utilize him. That was the knock on Doc Rivers. That was the knock on the coach before Doc Rivers, Brett Brown. And now we expect Steve Nash to put him in position to be successful when Steve Nash in these first 2 games have shown us he can't even put Kevin Durant in position to be successful. So, look, this is nothing to me. But I'm going to tell you what's everything to me at this moment is the return of Robert Williams. Robert Williams coming back to this Celtic team, the way that they're playing right now, to me, is my favorite to win it all. And I'm going to say this because it is. I say that because it is. When you look at Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart and the way that they're guarding Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, I don't know what other team have those type of players on their squad that they have to be worried about besides the Golden State Warriors possibly, so they could guard them offensively. They're offensive juggernaut, the way that they're moving the ball. You got guys like Grant Williams stepping up, and now you add Tom Lord, that lob threat at the basket along with that defensive presence. that could switch 1 through 5, you could book it right now. I'm calling it. The Celtics are going to win their title this year if Robert Williams is the same version that we've seen before his injury.
Okay, well, the Time Lord has a time restriction in that first game that he's going to be playing in. That's what Adrian Wojnarowski just reported. How much of an impact do you see him having immediately here, Zach?
Big impact. I don't see why not. I mean, they're already making life really difficult for the Nets for Kevin Durant. And you put Robert Williams in place of Daniel Tice for 20, 25 minutes, whatever it ends up being. The verticality on offense, the shot blocking, the rim protection. He's a really good switch defender. Perk is right about their defense. When you put him on the floor, it's just another level of athleticism, of oomph. That's just, the rim is hard to get to, and then he gets there and he impales your shot on the backboard so hard you think the ball is going to deflate. And just, he's a great switch defender. He's fast. This is a really brutal defense to score against. And Perk is onto something, you know, it's amazing how in a week, the safest bet on the board for the finals was Suns-Bucks. And a week later, like no time has gone by, and it's like, are we looking at Warriors-Celtics? Is that what we're looking at here? Well, because those teams look awesome. And I agree with Perk. Of these two returns, I think Robert Williams is the bigger deal for the playoffs as a whole than Ben Simmons is.
Do you agree with that the bigger deal is Robert Williams? What are you expecting, if anything, here from Ben Simmons?
Me? I think he can help, but my expectation is I don't think it's going to really make that big of a difference in the series. First of all, they're already down 2-0. Their margin for error is nothing, 0. You lose one of these two games at home, you're done. You're not winning 3 in a row against Boston. Woj said 10, 15 minutes. That's cool. Like, if you take 10, 15 minutes that are like Kessler, Edwards, plus Patty Mills, plus Goran Dragic,
right.
I think he could help. He could take some of the burden off KD guarding Tatum and Brown. Maybe he does get cooked. It's been 10 months. Those guys cook people who are playing all season long. But I don't see how it can hurt the Nets.
Well, Ben Simmons, he did speak with reporters earlier today about what he expects to be like when he is back on the floor. Take a listen.
You know, I'm looking forward to it, especially playing with these guys. I think for me, my IQ is so high to, you know, play with guys like Kai and Seth and Kev. Just watching them, I know how they play. I know how they want to play. And for me to just, you know, get them in their spots and be a floor general, you know, it's exciting. I'm looking forward to it.
So Ben Simmons is going to be getting Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving in their spots and being the floor general, Perk.
Well, listen. We know how Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving play. The question is how are you going to play Ben Simmons? It's not about whether or not what they're going to do. Like, just think about this. We have to keep reminding ourselves of what we witnessed last postseason out of Ben Simmons, okay? He lacked of confidence, and now we're talking about being out 10 months and you coming back at the highest level and you claim to be this facilitator. What if you have a guy like Jaylen Brown guarding you at the moment? You have a team that could actually match your length and your athleticism, and he's coming off a back injury.
Well, and the last time we saw him, you mentioned it, June 2021, Zach.
Well, all the players in that clip we just showed are like either out of the league or on different teams. That's how long it's been. It's like Pistons are in there. Willie Cauley-Stein's doing stuff. Look, a facilitator, I guess. I mean, he could be a facilitator for them in transition. That's where he's going to be the facilitator in the half court. This is Kyrie Irving's team and Kevin Durant's team. And Ben Simmons' job in the half court is going to be to set screens, roll, and rebound. And I keep saying this, Perk is right. Like, the last time we saw him, he was passing off a dunk to Matisse Thybulle under the rim. We all know that. I think they're going to test him early. I think they're going to foul him.
Yep.
I think they're going to test what his mindset is. But in transition, that's when he can help them. That's when he can get the shot. In the half court, he's going to be Bruce Brown with 6'11" in height and explosion.
I don't know if it's Friday and we're getting close to the weekend, but Zach, I actually love you today.
That's it. Should I just swap seats? So you guys
That was really nice.
That was touching. That was a nice moment. I think it's.
I don't think it's going to last when we talk about the Warriors, but that's a different topic.
Well,
I mean, you never know.
we're going to get there, but first we're going to talk about the Grizzlies, because still to come on NBA Today, fresh off the Grizzlies' monster comeback, Desmond Bane is joining the show live in a matter of minutes. That's going to be must-see TV. And the Dubs find themselves with a commanding 3-0 lead on Denver. Does our panel see them as the favorites now? We touched on it. We'll get more into that. And LeBron James and LaMelo Ball, both in the market for a new head coach. So which is the more appealing coaching job?
Back with the band. It's that time, baby.
The big three is now the big four.
Welcome back to NBA Today. I'm a journalist by profession, so you know I love a good word cloud. Look at that. I think Flash Flood might be my favorite in there because we still haven't determined the best nickname for this new Warriors lineup, but whatever you want to call them. I mean, they were cooking last night. I'm going with Flash Flood. Maybe Splash Flood. There you can see one of the Splash brothers, Steph Curry. The Warriors, they were cooking last night. And Denver hung tough for the first half in particular. But as you can see, as the half was winding down, Steph Curry,
nice
getting a friendly
and one.
bounce. And he's letting the people know. I was actually impressed with how many fans of the Warriors were in Ball Arena last night. And then look at Steph here. So active. Clay, there's nothing you can do about that. Holding the follow through. All right, let's move ahead to the fourth quarter. At this point, Jordan Poole hyping his teammates up, saying, all right, we got to go get this one. Still a pretty tight game here. Golden State down. What a pass. Again, Poole out to Andrew Wiggins.
Look at the relocation, though.
And the activeness
Yes.
bottoms on that one. Once again, 1 point game. Curry, signature shot. Can't quite get it to go, but look at that rebound. That is a must-get rebound for Denver. Can't quite do it. Poole. Okay, that wasn't a good enough view of the finish, though. We need to see that again.
Wiggins was not making that effort 2 years ago.
Well, look at this. Oh! Put a little jelly on that. And then
Put
Steph.
Jokic in the pick and roll.
Again and again and again. And that would do it. The Warriors are now up 3-0, and Steph says, go to sleep.
I mean, what a fun night at the office.
This is how we do it.
Poole three, good! Here comes Poole, baseline drives, contorts, floats, and got the ball in!
Pool party! It's a pool party! The way this team uses everyone is a lot like 2015.
Curry with the ball, goes to Iguodala, zooms and drives, and drops a sledgehammer!
And then old man Andre.
It's off to Clay with a three, got it! This could give him a lead, Wiggins three, good!
That's what it takes. You got to have guys who embrace the pressure and can execute under pressure.
A lot to build on. Can't get complacent, though. So as soon as we walk off the court, we're done celebrating.
Oh, man, they did it. All right, back with Zach and Perk. So, Zach, to you, what is the most impressive part of this Warriors lineup?
The synergy. I mean, Draymond Green is a genius. And when he has the ball in his hands and you've got one guy or two guys just sort of flying around in synchronized patterns like that, and all those guys can shoot off the dribble when he hands him the ball with space, well, then you've got three guys and sometimes four guys doing that all around him in patterns that make sense. Nobody's running into each other, and they make the defense bend in four directions at once, and you can't bend in four directions at once, and he's always going to make the right read. He's always going to make it instantly. That's Draymond, and even Andre's doing stuff now for them. It's really hard to guard. I mean, you'd have to be a Celtics team or Heat team that can switch everything to have any shot at guarding this, but the level of it's so fast. Yeah. It's so constant. Yep. You just get tired watching it. Like you just said during the highlight, Steph comes around the screen. Okay, that doesn't work. Then Clay comes around the same screen. You said, there's nothing you can do about that. Right. You're right. There's nothing you can do except hope headband Clay misses, and headband Clay ain't missing very much.
No, when he wears a headband, do you know that we should get you a headband, Perk?
No.
I think you.
I like to show my hair as long as possible. I don't know when it's gonna go away.
No, you have a good head of hair. Perk, you tweeted last night before we get to your hair. Yeah, you did. Before we get to your hair, Zach. Clay, Steph, and Poole get it done on the offensive end, but the defense by the Warriors down the stretch, led by their heart and soul of the team, Draymond. That's what won them this basketball game tonight. By the way, pull out the damn brooms. Carry on. And I'll carry on if you do. But will you do me a favor first?
What's that?
Will you freeze it?
Absolutely. Freeze! Hey, look, here's the thing.
You can't freeze and walk.
We understand offense win games, but defense win championships. And look, when it matters the most, who's going to get it done for you? The heart and soul of the team, Draymond Green. Roll the video. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Freeze! See that? There we go. All right, listen. At this point in time, Draymond Green has 5 fouls, okay? He's guarding Jokic, who is the best player on the Denver Nuggets. Look at the position. Look at the fight. Showing his hands to the referees, activity. Look, cutting off his vision at the same time, taking the contact with his chest. And look, right here, makes the play. Swipe right at the ball at the right time, right moment, gets the steal. Draymond doing Draymond Green things, this is what he is, a postseason player. And the thing I love about Draymond is going to let the world know about it.
You know what I find a little bit offensive?
What's that?
That Draymond Green only has one Defensive Player of the Year award.
Yeah, it is. To say he's undersized, right, at 6'5", and he actually has been playing the center position a lot and guarding people the way that he does, especially like a guy like Jokic, is disrespectful.
He's the defining defensive player of the last 10 or 15 years in the NBA and a first ballot Hall of Famer now.
So if you add to that, then you know what it's going to be. All right. Well, thanks to their dominant play and Devin Booker's injury, the Warriors, they're the outright favorites for the first time all season with the shortest odds they've had all year at plus 300. This is the first time since February that the Suns are not the favorites, while the Celtics and Heat, they both have the shortest odds of the season. We have someone very special standing by who is going to be chatting with us in just a moment.
There you
It's
go.
Desmond Bain. He's going to be joining the show. Stay tuned. The dark side, that's coming up next. They were rolling.
But you know what? They weathered the storm. That's all that matters.
Well, but first, Karl Anthony Towns, he said this.
We in Minnesota now. Like I said after the media, all right, cool, we got to come back to our house now.
I'm not saying those two things are related. I'm not saying that at all. But things went downhill very quickly for the Minnesota Timberwolves. You can see Karl Anthony Towns comes out, and then he's called for a travel on that possession.
Brandon
Fans
Clark.
not loving it. And then here, just a dagger. Cat can't quite get the closeout. Minneapolis, they fall. So there's really, I mentioned it, no quit in this team because the Grizzlies' 26-point comeback, it's tied for the third largest comeback in the last 25 postseasons. Only the Clippers, who came back from down 31 against the Warriors in 2019 and 27 against the Grizzlies, that was 10 years ago, have made larger deficits, have made up for that in this time. You were still playing then. All right, he was the man of the hour last night. 7 threes, absolutely instrumental in leading this Grizz to a 26-point comeback win. Desmond Bain, thank you so much for joining us here on NBA Today.
Appreciate y'all having me.
Of course. All right, so we're going to start right here. You've told me before that the description for this team is "we here." So last night, what was said in the huddle and who said it to keep this team feeling like, hey, this is still a winnable game?
I mean, it was coming from multiple people. I think that's the best trait about our team is everybody's bought in, everybody's willing to do their part to lead how they can. Don't quit. We've been in this position before. We're a team that gonna figure it out at some point. We gonna keep coming and we ain't backing down.
Yeah. I mean, you guys certainly keep coming. And while you were playing the broadcast, we just heard it, but I'm going to make sure you heard it. They ran the sound of Karl Anthony Towns while the Wolves were up big. Let's play that. Take a listen.
We in Minnesota now. Like I said after the media, all right, cool, we got to come back to our house now. I only seen them at their house.
What was your reaction to that sound today?
I love it. We gonna come to Minnesota and we gonna walk in your trap and take over your trap.
Yeah.
We're in Minnesota now.
Yeah, you see, this is why I love the dark side. Matter of fact, I'm part of the dark side, okay? Hey, Desmond, look. Hey, man, big fan, big perk here. Listen, I see you young guys, and you don't really see this, right? Playing the gender-free basketball. I'm looking at y'all chemistry and how y'all root for one another. Y'all don't care who get the shine. I just want to know. I have y'all picked to win the West. I want to know, in the locker room, do y'all believe not only can y'all win the Western Conference this year, but can y'all win the championship as well?
I mean, I feel like we've proven, that we should be seen as a contender for sure. I mean, we beat the best teams, really on both sides, home or on the road, whatever it may be. We got that type of confidence. Like you said, we're a young team, but, we feel like we can compete and beat anybody.
Desmond, Zach Lowe at ESPN. First of all, I voted you most improved player. I can't believe you weren't one of the finalists. Second of all, I was wondering, what was the importance of that experience in the play-in last year and getting through the play-in and sort of getting you guys the feel of this is what the playoffs and the win and go home intensity feel like? Because your team isn't the same as last year. You did make a big trade between then and now, but what was that experience like in terms of getting you guys ready for this?
Nah, I mean, it was huge. I mean, just learning, you know, the attention to detail, you know, how much every possession is valued in the playoffs. You know, it's paid dividends for us for sure. I mean, we got a game last year in Utah. You know, felt like we could have done better, had a sour taste in our mouth. You know, after that series, use that as fuel, you know, during the offseason and, you know, put ourselves in a position we're in now.
Hey, Dez, look, you got one of my young fellas over there that I raised, right? And Steven Adams. Now he's a veteran. I want to know, what do he mean to that locker room? You know, what type of leader is he? What type of leader he is in that locker room? And do y'all get on him about wearing open-toe sandals when it's cold outside? I just need
that boy
to know.
Don't got no swag. We're going to start right there. That boy don't got no swag.
I had to ask. I mean, you know.
But, nah, Steve-O a great vet, though. I mean, there's not a lot of guys in the league, you know, that's had the type of career that he has, is, you know, willing to step aside and let some of the younger guys step into the rotation. You know, given that the series might not fit his game or what he brings to the table, and still be there to, you know, cheer everybody on. I mean, he's special, you know, in that regard for sure.
I can get on board maybe with the open toe, but if it's open toe shoes and socks, that's where I have to say, that cannot happen. You've went up, no, absolutely not okay. You've went up against some of the premier guards though in this league all season long. Why is your teammate Ja Morant, which I know Perks guy, more special than any of the other point guards that are playing in this postseason?
He's a dog. I mean, I'm a say it just like that. I mean, he ain't no running in the M. You know, that all that stuff start with him. You know, he not backing down from nobody. Always willing to take on a challenge, whether it's point guard, shooting guard, small forward. You a center, he coming at you. You know, it doesn't matter. And now you see he's willing to do whatever it takes to win. You know, earlier in the year, 40-point games, all that stuff. And now, you know, he's spreading the ball around, making the winning plays defensively, rebounding the ball. You know, it's winning time now.
Do you give him a hard time for the most improved nod?
Nah, you know, he deserves it. If somebody gonna win it, gotta be one of us two. That's my only thing.
See? All right, there you go. Thank you so much, Desmond, for joining us. The Timberwolves and the Grizzlies are going to be in action on ESPN tomorrow night. Desmond, best of luck, and thank you so much for hanging with us on NBA Today.
Appreciate it.
All right, back to our top story. Ben Simmons, he spoke earlier today. All signs point to him making his series debut against Boston. Steve Nash laughed when he was asked if Game 3 was possible, but Simmons said a Game 4 return was reasonable, and our Adrian Wojnarowski reported to expect a Game 4 return barring any setbacks. So for more on Simmons, I do want to bring in our Nets reporter, Nick Friedel. Nick, you were in the building for Ben's availability earlier. What stood out to you the most?
Malika, he is so confident that he'll be able to fit in whenever he does see the floor again. But what was most interesting to me, there's all this hype around Ben Simmons and whether or not he'll be able to play 10 or 15 minutes in Game 4. The Celtics defense on Kevin Durant has been awesome. And Steve Nash remains very, very confident that no matter what they may see tomorrow night in Game 3, Kevin Durant will be Kevin Durant once again.
I couldn't have more faith and trust in Kevin Durant. So that's, you know, so it's sometimes you go through these little pockets of play. You know, we're playing a team that is excellent defensively and, you know, a big team and they do a great job. So that doesn't mean, though, that things can't change. So I think Kevin Durant's one of the best players to ever play the game, and he'll continue to improve as the series goes on.
Malika, they know he's going to get rolling in Game 3 because they've seen it so many times before. But I've been around Kevin for a lot of years. You just don't see him play like that in 2 big games. So I would fully expect him to get in rhythm early. And if he can, the momentum they'll get from that, along with Kyrie being back at home, should be able to carry them throughout the rest of the night.
Nick Friedel, thank you so much. We will see you on SportsCenter at 6 o'clock Eastern. All right. Nick said something interesting. He said he expects to see Kevin Durant get going early and often in this Game 3. What do you expect, Zach?
I certainly expect him to try, and he did miss some shots that Kevin Durant, as difficult as those shots are, Kevin Durant can make more of them than he made in the first 2 games. Something I'm going to be interested in, can he get some easy looks around the basket? Here's a stat for you. Kevin Durant drove into the paint or to the rim 6 times in Game 2. That's like his 3rd lowest figure in any game this season, and some of the games above it are blowouts where he didn't play a lot of minutes. The Celtics are just walling off, strangling the paint, and I wonder if he can at least get to the line. I mean, he got to the line a lot, but get to the rim, get some easy looks. And the Nets, because the Nets, as great as they are, you just can't beat this team when half your shots are mid-range shots. It's going to be too hard.
Well, we keep talking about the shots that Kevin Durant missed, but Boston is making him miss those shots. Here's my concern, and here's the thing that I have a problem with. Kevin Durant has bailed out Steve Nash since he got to Brooklyn. When is Steve Nash going to bail out Kevin Durant? Meaning putting him in position to actually be successful, running him off of pin downs, running him maybe off of floppy action, running him where he's the guy that's actually doing the dribble handoff action, where he's diving to the basket. Like, you got to find a way to get him easy baskets instead of saying, here, KD, go to work, show us get into your bag and score the bucket. That's not fair to Kevin Durant, and that's why Steve Nash is there to put him in position so that he could get some easy baskets.
Easier said than done against a team that can switch almost everything, all that pretty stuff, all those screens, but it's not an unfair criticism because you can find sets in all of these games, in these first 2 games, where it's a Seth Curry pin down into a flare screen or some stuff like that that just gets him moving off the ball, gets him to catch it. They do need more of that. They need to put guys of different sizes together in different actions. And, yeah, the Celtics are great. They're going to switch a lot of it. A lot of that stuff's going to fail, but you got to try, and it's just been too stagnant.
Well, Zach and Malika, think about this, and I know it was at the end of the game in the ATO, but think, when Joel Embiid hit his shot, that game winner against Toronto, the world knew that he was getting the ball. And Doc Rivers made it his duty to get him the ball and get him a great look. All I'm saying is help Kevin Durant out. Like, you can't keep relying on him to try to make these tough contested tools over guys that is almost his size, have great athleticism, and they're imposing their will on him for his physicality.
The superhero shots. Well, we can see it all play out with Durant tomorrow night in Game 3 right here on ESPN at 7:30 Eastern. And then Ja Morant and the Grizzlies are in Minnesota to take on Karl Anthony Towns and the Timberwolves. Another series, no Luka, and the Jazz they can't find a way to get it done. So our panel reacts to Utah's bad body language and more. Franchise history helping Dallas pick up 2 wins without Luka Doncic. And the Mavs, they have been so hot from 3 because 29 of these 40, they were uncontested. That's the most made uncontested threes in a 2-game span in the last 9 postseasons that we have ESPN tracking data on these contests. This includes 12 of 22 shooting in Game 3. And then on the flip side, the Jazz, they're making just 9 3-pointers per game this series. If you listed any playoff team, that's a big problem for Utah, as during the regular season, they were second most prolific 3-point shooting team, making 14.5 per game. All right, so that's a whole lot of numbers. Let's get to the good stuff. We now want to bring in Tim McMahon, who covers the Jazz and the Mavs for ESPN. So, Tim, take us inside the team mindset here. How is Utah viewing being down 2-1 in this series?
I mean, the Jazz are scrambling for solutions and searching for silver linings. They found some silver linings. I mean, you're talking about a team that lost at home last night with the other team's superstar wearing warm-ups. And, hey, cut that lead from 17-1. That shows there's some fight. That's not what you want to hear midway through a playoff series. Have they found solutions? Small ball worked for a little stretch last night, but is taking Rudy Gobert off the floor, your all-NBA center off the floor, that's not a solution that has much staying power. So the Jazz are in trouble, and Luka Doncic's return is on the horizon. It's coming soon.
Well, you mentioned it. The Jazz are having all this trouble, and Luka Doncic isn't even on the court. You said coming soon. How soon can we expect to see him on the floor?
Well, he actually is on the court as we speak. He is playing 5-on-5 on the Jazz's home floor right now with some low minutes guys, some Maverick staffers. This is the 2nd straight day he's done that. There is no question that he is physically capable of playing right now. It's just about risk management for the Mavericks. The one thing Jason Kidd said is the fact that the Mavericks are up 2-1, that won't impact their decision making with Luka either way. When he's ready, when they feel like there's not significant risk in bringing him back, he will be there. He looks like he could be ready as soon as tomorrow.
Wow. Well, I mean, they certainly bought him a little bit of time being able to go up in this series even without him on the floor. Tim McMahon, thank you so much for joining us. When Tim McMahon said that Luka Doncic could be coming back, Perk, you made what face?
Look, the Jazz fans should be concerned if Luka don't come back, and if he is coming back, then they're dead bird tall grass at this point. The Utah Jazz. Look, I've said this time and time again. Yeah, dead bird tall grass. I'll explain to you later. Okay,
you haven't heard that one yet?
No. Here's the thing about the Jazz. All right, I'm looking at their body language. Something that Shanae argued with me about. And the fact of the matter is that those guys don't like each other. They don't like playing alongside each other. I think they're ready to part ways. And right now they're just going through the motion. It's almost like they're just participating and getting through it.
I don't even want to watch Game 4 unless I get some signed guarantee that it's going to be different than the same game I've already seen 12 times. Let me guess. The Mavericks are going to put Maxi Kleber at the 5. He's going to stand in the corner. They're going to go 5 out, and their best drivers, Jalen Brunson, who looks like some combination of Michael Jordan and a running back in this series, and Spencer Dinwiddie are going to pick whichever Jazz defender they want. It could be any of them, and go to the rim, and it's going to be a layup, or Rudy's going to come in, and it's going to be an open 3. At what point, and we all, the criticism is all on the players, right? Donovan Mitchell can't stay in front of Jalen Brunson. So-and-so can't stay in front of so-and-so. No one can stay in front of anybody. That's cool. That's fair. At what point, as a coaching staff, do Quinn Snyder, who I voted Coach of the Year a couple years ago, I think he's a great coach, at what point do you have to do something different? Because hoping that these guys stay in front of the Mavericks guys is not a strategy anymore. It's not going to happen. It's not going to work. Can you play zone? Can you try a complex jump switching scheme with guys going in and out diagonal? You got to do something because hope is not a strategy.
Well, I don't believe that they could play zone because I thought you play zone when you have a team that can't shoot. Not to discredit you, Zach, but what I'm saying is this. Here's my thing. Rudy Gobert, he's been getting a lot of heat, right? He's kind of playing out of position. But when the hell is Donovan Mitchell at this moment? And, don't come telling me that he can't guard or he's never been known as a defensive player because he looks pretty damn good when it comes to offense. He can move laterally, he's fast, he's quick. And where's Mike Conley? We're talking about a backcourt that is one of the highest paid backcourts in the NBA. And right now they're getting outplayed by Brunson and Dinwiddie. We have to start putting some ownership on Donovan Mitchell. Hey, do you want to be there? Are you that guy to actually lead a franchise? That's why I'm at with Donovan Mitchell right now because he's a completely different player since he got paid his money. I don't even see the same hunger anymore.
Well, Zach mentioned Quinn Snyder. We do have some news on the coaching front in the NBA. The Hornets, they have fired Coach James Borrego after blowout losses in back-to-back seasons in the play-in tournament. The 44-year-old Borrego was 138 and 163 in 4 seasons with the Hornets and had received a multi-year contract extension just last August. And the Hornets, they've not made the playoffs since the 2015-16 season and have not won a playoff series since 2002. So back here with the man who broke the news, Adrian Wojnarowski. Woj, what went into Charlotte's decision considering Borrego had been given an extension so recently?
Try Malika. He had 2 years and $7 million plus left on his deal. And, the Hornets improved 10 games fold in 3 straight years. They went 23 wins to 33 to 43 this year. Played those consecutive seasons in the play-in. I think the score certainly getting blown out in those consecutive play-in games. I know that played a factor in Michael Jordan's decision, but there's some surprise around the league that this was a developmental team. This was a team where you saw players get better, very young. They still had a long way to go defensively. And they played without Gordon Hayward, for a good part of this season, and still were over 500. And you saw the growth, Miles Bridges, LaMelo Ball, Devontae Graham, who went on to New Orleans, the growth he had. And so a little bit of a surprise with James Borrego, who's well regarded among coaches in the league. So now they'll go into a search. I'm told to perhaps expect more of a veteran coach as they get out in the marketplace. The only other two jobs right now, the Lakers and the Kings. It's a little bit of a buyer's market in the coaching circles because there's just right now only 3 jobs open.
Woj, thank you so much for joining us and for that insight. I found this stat incredibly interesting. Per Elias, Borrego is the first head coach in NBA history to lose his job after increasing his team's wins by double figures in back-to-back full seasons. So I agree. I was surprised to see that this morning. All right, Perk, he loves the Grizz. We all know that. But lately, he's been taken to the Pelicans. So can we convince him that he's wrong, that he should pick the Suns? No?
No, baby. I'm rolling with them Pelicans.
Well, we're going to try. That's coming up next. But we need to explain to you, Big Perk, how much of a statistical anomaly Game 2 was. So we're going to each present you with a fact. And after that fact, can you tell us if you're still feeling the Pelicans? Is that cool?
Yeah,
all right.
I'm listening.
Kick back, relax, and this is a stat that I cooked up for you with our help from producer Schwartz. You ready? All right, so the Pelicans, they've made 17 three-pointers and shot 57% from 3 in Game 2. Both of those numbers are season highs for New Orleans, who ranked bottom 4. So bottom 4 in the league in both of those categories, and they did it in Game 2. Does that do anything to change your mind?
So what? Here's the thing, Malika. When you bring up those numbers, to me, it still comes down to shot making. And I think when you look at Brandon Ingram along with C.J. McCollum, I think they could duplicate that or to a lesser extent and go out there at home. Role players play better at home. They're going to knock down shots.
You'll see if you had any more luck, Zach.
First of all, I love that this is just blatant Suns propaganda from our producer, Mike Schwartz, who happens to be a Suns fan. Yeah. Okay, Perk, try this on for size, all right? The Pelicans have outscored the Suns 15-0 zip in crunch time this series. The Suns were 33-9 in clutch time during the regular season, 4th best in the last 25 seasons, and 25-4 when Chris Paul was available. Does that do anything for you, that the next close game advantage Suns?
No, it don't do anything for me. And let me explain to you why. Because it's regular season is one thing, but the postseason, everyone starts 0-0. So it don't matter what you did in the regular season. Like Draymond Green said in his interview, you have regular season players and you have postseason players. Everybody not ready for the postseason.
All right.
Pelicans are.
The Suns did make the finals last year.
With a healthy Devin Booker.
Not a healthy Devin Booker. Devin Booker said he was hurting the entire season.
Going to the finals, everybody is dealing with something. No one is.
Everybody. All right, then I got one more for you. Let's see if this does anything.
I'm predicting no, by the way, that it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, I am too, but I'm going to try. He scored 13 points on 4 of 5 shooting, all contested in Game 2, with Defensive Player of the Year runner-up Mikal Bridges as his primary defender. That's after scoring 1 point on 0 of 9 shooting against Bridges in Game 1. So are you prepared to triple down after that?
I am, because he's at home. And forget the 13, he might score 20. Look, C.J. McCollum has embraced this organization. He has embraced the culture of New Orleans. And I tell you one thing, if anybody is going to be ready to play in front of this home crowd, it's going to be C.J. McCollum.
How do you say that again?
C.J. McCollum.
Okay. I mean, I might as well just...
Don't fall out of the chair. That worries me.
Look, the only question is if I fall down, are you going to come help me? Are you going to help me?
Yes, but it'll take both of us. According to odds makers, we have a great night of basketball ahead of us on ESPN and ABC. All 3 Game 3s
Let's go.
have a point spread within 3 points. So first it's Hawks Heat at 7 Eastern on ESPN, followed by the Bucks and the Bulls at 8:30 on ABC.
Guess who's doing the halftime? Me and Malika.